Can you please decode this militarization that is taking place in Shaksgam through CPEC 2.0 version?
I think, good evening, Karthikeya. Good to be here on your show. And as I would say, first time I'm coming in the new year, wish you a happy new year.
Same to
So
you,
the
sir.
subject that you're talking about is something which is a little more challenging. The first thing that comes to mind, let us just go back to 2020 and see that what happened in Galwan has created a challenge for ourselves because the Chinese forces, which used to sit somewhere around Rinchi, 400 kilometers, have moved forward and created forward bases. When you link this forward deployment post, which already exists along that border opposite us in Ladakh and eastern Ladakh, when you look at, as you correctly said in your geographical positioning, the Shaksgam Valley does become important more so when militarization is happening. When we look at it in the whole landscape, starting from Ladakh, moving towards from all the way up to Shaksgam Valley. So I think the question that you have raised, yes, it is a matter of concern. Yes, the armed forces are very clear, and the reiteration of the country's standing system, which says that this is illegally occupied, and that was one of the reasons that we have against the CPEC. So I think this current militarization will have to be seen to ensure. Fortunately, a lot of activity has happened in India where we have, I would say, multiple lines of communication now available to be able to look at the Siachen Valley. But I think going back to the historical claim, may I just put it that the challenge that exists with the Sakshkam Valley being under the current sway of the Chinese and their CPEC passing through it will create issues of security. And I think our border management will have to be a little more stringent and will have to be a little more effective to cater for this. In the current manner, while we continue exercising our claim on it, I think we will have to take actions which will ensure that our protection is done. The only problem is that fait accompli as it exists today, this is something that is happening, and we'll have to take necessary cognizance as far as our security paradigm is concerned. And maybe that is the reason why the chief made that statement that our claim on it remains. Any activity there, which is a military activity which takes place, is something which is against the current standing of what the government says, and is also has a security implication as far as India is concerned.
Okay.
We can take more specific questions later.
Okay. General Shankar, your opening comments on this development on Shaksgam Valley, which is happening in the so-called CPEC 2.0 version, which is primarily about, on the face of it, in a very effete way, which China says is second phase of the infrastructure project, which links the special economic zones, digital connectivity, agricultural modernization, connecting mining sites for resources like lithium, and aiming to embed Pakistan further into the Chinese economic sphere with potential expansion into Afghanistan. But the real aim or real intention, I think, sir, remains something different.
At the outset, I'd like to put one thing across. There's nothing to flap about. It's not a great earth-shaking kind of a development which is taking place. The Chinese and the Pakistanis have always tried to build an alternative to the existing CPEC route. The existing CPEC route goes over the Karakoram Pass, which is to the west of the Shaksgam Valley, which you've seen. And the Shaksgam Valley, east to west, is over about 175 kilometers. That's the first part. The second thing is, as per the agreement between Pakistan and China of 1963, the ultimate status of the Shaksgam Valley will be decided when the status of Kashmir is decided between Pakistan and India. So China actually at this point of time does not have a leg to stand on. So we have to take that into consideration. Yeah, so all their construction there is illegal, is something which we need to put across. I mean, this is as per their agreement, not what we are claiming. The third point is for a long time, the alternate route to the CPC, because on this main CPC, the Pakistanis and the Chinese have been fighting, and that road is pretty unstable. For instance, in 2025, for a good about 3 months, it was closed. and that was not a CPC at all. And there were a lot of riots also on that area. So they're trying to develop an alternative route. This alternative route, okay, a little bit of geography. The Shaksgam Tract lies between the Great Karakoram Range, which is to the south, and the Agil Range, which is to the north. Right? Most of the Chinese communications pass north of the Agil Range. What the Chinese are trying to do is get a road down from a place called Masa down to a Agil Pass, which is a well-known pass on the Agil Range. And that pass comes down to Shaksgam River, cross the Shaksgam Valley, cross the Great Karakoram, and then go to a place called Shigar to Skardu to Devsai and to Astor, which completely bypasses the existing route. Right? So, but this is at this point of time still a wishful thing because they have to cross the Karakoram at a place called the Mustaq Pass. And Mustaq Pass at this point of time in these days is fully, under snow, 365 days. What their hope is that as global warming takes place, environmental change takes place, this pass will open up because this was one of the old caravan routes, to Yarkand from Gilgit-Baltistan. So they're banking on that to open up. The road on either side is okay. They have to cross the Shaksgam Valley. Basically, they have to cross the area between the Agil Pass and Mustaq Pass, which is tough. So that's why I said it's not But like you said in the beginning, the northernmost point of our Siachen Glacier is a place called the Indra Col.
Yes, sir.
From the Indra Col, there's a glacier which goes down to the Shaksgam Valley, which is called the Urdog Glacier. The Urdog Glacier is about 50 kilometers in length, and 50 kilometers and you're in the Shaksgam. Now, the Chinese for a long time have been constructing this road, and this road has got an extension to the east also. To the east means coming to the base of the Urdog Glacier. And the Chinese do patrolling out there. So the question then comes is, why are they coming there? Right? And if they can, once the CPC2 starts, this road forms in future, this might be a threat from the north to the Siachen Glacier. It's not a matter of people moving into the Siachen Glacier, attacking our positions and all. That's not feasible because that area only lends itself to small-time operations, small party operations. It's very difficult terrain. And once you hit the Indra Col, it's very steep going down to the Urdog Glacier. Okay. But the more important thing is you can get firepower up to there. The moment you get firepower up to there, and they have built roads on the west of the Karakoram Pass on the other side, from the Depsang side. Actually, that's also on the other side. There's a place called Zindu Kili. There's a lake out there. And that's just behind the, Siachen Glacier. And there's a proper road already coming there. So these road arteries, once infrastructure developed, the problem is they can deploy long-range fire from there, which so far they have not had the capacity to do so. So far, the Pakistanis and the Chinese were kept apart by the Siachen Glacier. And the fact that, they could only come and attack the Siachen Glacier or the Saltoro Ridge and, the DBO route, I'm now going to the Chushul belt, the Galwan area. They could only attack it from the Depsang side, or the Pakistanis had to come from the east via the Kunduz Glacier and the glaciated area. It was a tough ask. These roads which are coming through the Shaksgam Valley and this area I called the Zindul Keli, which is coming from the north, gives a third opening. And that is what we need to worry. It's not a threat today. Let me put it across very clearly. It's a threat for tomorrow, day after, and next generation, right? And the CPEC2 coming through this area is also not a good idea. It's far too close to our area. And I think we need to take into consideration all these and adjust our strategic positions accordingly.
General Shankar,
Right.
the entire matrix, global matrix is changing because of the climate change. Why does
Yes.
Americans want Greenland? You know, there's a thaw in Arctic, you know, Arctic, the roof
I
of the
agree with
world.
you.
You know, the entire military operations are happening because Arctic is not freezing. So similarly, Siachen also
Same here.
undergoes the same process.
Yes, that's what I'm trying to get at. The process is they're doing it futuristically. Now, what do we do? I mean, the way I look at it is, what do we do? Are you going to just keep sitting, or you must do something? My way of looking at it is look, as far as I'm concerned, the entire J&K, Gilgit-Baltistan and POJK, they are ours. Politically, we should reach out to them. Put a political stake on it. Give people from those areas a say in your day-to-day life. Get them to attend your, legislatures. There we have seats kept vacant for them. People from this side of this thing should reach out there, and you have to have a political outreach. And a political outreach is something which the Chinese and the Pakistanis both are scared of, right? And that's something which we
Okay.
have not done so far.